The story of Donna Reed is one of the saddest contradictions in classic Hollywood history. To millions of Americans, she represented comfort, stability, kindness, and the image of the perfect woman during television's golden age. Whether audiences watched her in It's a Wonderful Life or welcomed her into their homes every week through The Donna Reed Show, Donna Reed became the face of idealized American womanhood. She looked graceful, calm, endlessly patient, and emotionally unshakable. Families trusted her. Audiences admired her. Hollywood marketed her as the woman every husband wanted and every child wished they had as a mother. But behind the carefully lit suburban kitchens and warm television smiles was a woman quietly carrying exhaustion, frustration, emotional loneliness, and eventually heartbreaking betrayal by the very industry that made her famous. The public saw perfection. Donna Reed often experienced something far more painful. For decades, Donna Reed lived inside what could only be described as a golden prison. Hollywood had discovered that audiences loved her as the wholesome, dependable wife and mother figure, so the industry refused to let her become anything else. The problem was that Donna Reed was far more intelligent, emotionally complex, and ambitious than the characters she repeatedly played. She had talent capable of handling darker, more layered performances, but studios continuously pushed her back into safe, sanitized roles designed to comfort American audiences. Hollywood executives understood exactly how profitable her image had become, and once an actor became financially valuable inside a certain type of role during that era, escaping it became almost impossible. Reed reportedly spent years suppressing huge parts of her real personality because the industry demanded she remain eternally pleasant, gentle, and supportive both on and off screen. She wasn't simply acting anymore. She was living inside a manufactured image that slowly consumed her real identity. What made the situation especially tragic was how completely America embraced the illusion. Audiences genuinely believed Donna Reed was exactly like the characters she portrayed. Fans saw her as the perfect suburban mother, the ideal wife, and the emotional center of the American household. But according to people who knew her personally, the emotional pressure of maintaining that image became overwhelming over time. Every public appearance, every interview, and every television performance required her to reinforce a version of femininity Hollywood desperately wanted to preserve during the 1950s and early 1960s. She had to smile constantly. She had to appear emotionally balanced constantly. She had to reassure audiences constantly. The industry profited enormously from her ability to represent safety and perfection while quietly ignoring the emotional toll it took on her privately. Behind closed doors, Donna Reed reportedly struggled with the psychological exhaustion that comes from constantly performing happiness. One of the cruelest aspects of old Hollywood fame was how stars often lost ownership of their own identities. Once audiences attached themselves emotionally to a celebrity persona, studios expected actors to preserve that illusion indefinitely. Reed reportedly understood that if she publicly expressed frustration, anger, ambition, or emotional complexity too openly, it could damage the wholesome image networks had carefully built around her. So instead, like many stars of her generation, she learned to suppress enormous parts of herself. The tragedy wasn't simply that Hollywood typecast her professionally. It was that the industry slowly erased the line between the character and the woman herself. As the years passed, the emotional burden reportedly grew heavier. Donna Reed became trapped inside a strange contradiction. Millions of people adored her image, yet very few truly knew her as a person. She was surrounded by admiration while privately experiencing increasing loneliness. Fame during television's golden age often created emotional isolation because stars were expected to remain symbols rather than human beings. Reed reportedly felt enormous pressure to protect everyone else's comfort while sacrificing her own emotional authenticity in the process. The more beloved she became publicly, the more trapped she reportedly felt privately. And then Hollywood changed. By the late 1960s, television and film were moving away from the clean-cut suburban optimism that stars like Donna Reed represented. Audiences increasingly wanted realism, rebellion, controversy, and edgier storytelling. Suddenly, the very qualities Hollywood once celebrated in Reed became viewed as outdated. The perfect television mother archetype that made her famous no longer fit the mood of the industry. And like so many classic stars before her, Donna Reed discovered the terrifying reality of Hollywood's loyalty. Once executives decide you're no longer profitable, they move on quickly and coldly. The emotional betrayal reportedly devastated her. After giving years of her life helping shape television history, she watched the industry quietly discard her as if she belonged to another era entirely. Roles became scarcer. Invitations slowed down. Public attention faded. Hollywood executives who once depended on her image suddenly acted as though she had become irrelevant. For many actors, career decline is painful. But for someone whose identity had become so deeply tied to public approval and performance, the emotional impact could become crushing. Reed reportedly struggled deeply with feeling abandoned by the very business she had helped build. What made the decline even more painful was that Donna Reed had sacrificed so much of herself in service to that image. She spent decades behaving exactly the way Hollywood wanted, maintaining professionalism, protecting her reputation, and representing American values faithfully. Yet when trends shifted, none of that loyalty protected her. The industry moved on to younger faces and newer styles with shocking indifference. Like many stars from television's golden era, Reed reportedly discovered that Hollywood's love often lasts only as long as ratings and public trends remain profitable. The psychological effect of this transition reportedly became profound. Reed entered a difficult period where she struggled to redefine herself outside the image America attached to her. For years, her identity had been connected almost entirely to her work and public persona. Without constant production schedules and audience validation, she reportedly experienced deep emotional uncertainty. Some people close to her later described a sadness that lingered beneath the surface during her later years, a quiet recognition that much of the industry no longer valued what she had once represented. Yet despite the emotional pain, Donna Reed never entirely gave up. During the 1980s, she attempted a courageous return to mainstream television by joining the enormously popular primetime soap opera Dallas. For many longtime fans, it seemed like the beginning of a comeback story. Reed stepped into a major role and once again found herself back in front of massive television audiences.